Look, guys, you said that the 10 a.m. live streams were a good time because it captured the folks who were already at work on the East Coast. You get the people who are getting ready for their day on the West Coast. So let's do another 10 a.m. stream. Let's do it. Still waiting for another person, another couple people. Let's refresh this. Let's see what's going on here. We got one more to join. Bindles, what's up, man? Got the 3 spot. Mike, you got some questions. All right, let's answer these questions while we wait for this draft to start. Hey, JJ, I would love... So, by the way, I look over here because this is another monitor that I have. This is actually my main monitor that I use for work and stuff. But it's the one that I'm using for to see what's going on with chat and everything like that. So if I'm looking over here, it's not that I'm like ignoring you guys. You guys just get to see a different profile. One that needs to be shaved. One that very much needs to be shaved. Hey, JJ, I would love your insight on where you personally draw the line on stacking quarterbacks versus naked quarterbacks past ADP. I usually try to stack 3 quarterbacks with at least 1 pass catcher from their team. But I recently left a draft with 2 unstacked quarterbacks, both 12 and 24 picks past ADP respectively. I'm curious if you would have taken these quarterbacks unstacked. Look, if when you draft them, they're unstacked, that's fine. We'll probably have that situation happen in this draft, right? Like Trevor Lawrence, okay? Maybe I didn't get Brian Thomas. I'm not going to get Brian Thomas in this draft. I'm probably not going to get Travis Hunter in this draft, just given where I'm at. And so could I still get Trevor Lawrence? Yeah. I mean, because I can get Brenton Strange late. I can get De'Ami Brown late. The problem I think with that is you don't want to get a quarterback completely unstacked, ideally, right? I accidentally did that yesterday. When I did a draft, I got Aaron Rodgers as my QB3. And I didn't get a Steeler with him. It's not the end of the world because I did stack the other 2 quarterbacks. But if you have 3 quarterbacks and 2 of the quarterbacks are not stacked, you want those quarterbacks to be stacked. That's, again, I'm not the pro at this per se. I'm just a nerd who enjoys this stuff and has been talking to more people who, or the people who have done a lot more analysis with best ball than I have. But I do think logically that it does make sense. Like you need your quarterbacks to be stacked. If you don't use an ultra wide curve monitor, I strongly suggest it. I don't have the curve monitor. I have a huge monitor though. I have a 27-inch monitor that I use. I think it's 27. Would you ever take a rushing quarterback unstacked? I think that you can get away with that a little bit more. We're going to go Justin Jefferson with this first pick. I think you can get away with that a little bit more. But yeah. I still try to stack. Even if it's Fields, just get like Mason Taylor or like even Josh Reynolds late. The backwards hat equals pro status. That's true. I am a big backwards hat dude. Been doing that for the past like 6 years or so. More over the last 6 years or so. Are you guys in on Jefferson 103 there, or do you go Barkley or Lamb? Or Gibbs? The 106, as we know, there's a big drop off after that. Seemingly, right? Or we think so. But yeah, I haven't gotten a ton of Barkley just because of the probable regression. I'm not going to fault anyone for getting freaking Saquon Barkley, though. Mitch says, thanks for the live streams lately. Of course, Mitch. Of course. Look at this. The TJ stack is a must. Yeah, initial stack. But look, here's the thing. I'm in the JJ fraternity. We don't accept TJs in the fraternity. You know, we've had I said this on the late round fantasy football show yesterday. You know, you have JJ McCarthy starting the season as Minnesota starter. That's a plus for the JJ fraternity. JJ Spawn winning at Oakmont. That's a big plus. JJ Watt just had a baby. Things are looking good for JJ's right now. I'm going on vacation tomorrow for a week. The draft guide's pretty much done, guys. I am extremely excited about that. I cannot even explain to you guys how much work I put. Look, I'm not the kind of person that's like, hours worked equals greatness or anything like that, right? Like I think that the product that you do, however fast you do it, right? That's what matters, right? Like anyone who's ever worked for me, I've never been about you got to work this amount of, if you get your work done, you get your work done. That's all I care about is productivity, right? And so I don't want to like be that dude with the draft guide, but man, I've been working a lot on that thing and I am very excited that it is pretty much done. And it's going out on Monday night. You guys know how I roll with the guide launches. El Oso says, love the guide last year. Is it Oso or Oso? I don't know Spanish. Definitely pre-ordered this one. Yeah, this one's going to be different too. I think this one is, I'd say last year had a pretty big jump. Like this is the fourth one. I'd say year 2 had the slightest variation from one year to the next because year 1 obviously is brand new. Oso. Okay, good. Year 1 to 2 was probably the least amount of variation. Then year 3, I changed things up a good bit. I changed things up a good bit this year too. I don't know anything about soccer. Okay. I know nothing about soccer. I mean, I know like the high level stuff about soccer, but I'm not the biggest soccer person in the world. Pretty chalk so far. Actually, kind of interesting. We've only had running backs and wide receivers so far. Brock Bowers is still on the board. One player I'm trying to get more of is Devon Achane. I gotta take this off. One player I do want to get a little bit more of is Devon Achane. Nick, good morning to you. There goes Achane. Someone draft. I mean, now I'm either with Bowers or Rashee Rice, so I'm fine with that. But I do want a little bit more Achane. I actually bumped him up in my rankings after doing a little bit more research last week or two. Or actually this week. I think that he's a better pick than Derrick Henry. Maybe that's silly. Let's get Bowers. Just play the ADP game. Get a nice little value on Bowers. I mean, this is usually like Trey McBride area. So if we're going to get Bowers this late, that's a nice ADP value. Not correlated, of course. But that's fine. It's the first 2 rounds. Look at that. McBride right after Bowers. I mean, I think Rashee Rice should be going. Yeah, the thing with Achane that I've really thought about, oh man, we might be able to. This is the drop off though, right? It's the Rashee Rice drop off. But there are people who don't believe in Rice. Yep, there it is. Probably want to go Garrett Wilson. I don't really have a ton of I mean, I'm not going like super heavy Wilson. Thing with Wilson, I think in best ball it's a little bit different. I think in season long you're gonna be. No, I shouldn't say that. I think I have Wilson at like wide receiver 16 and he's wide receiver 13 in season long drafts. So I got him at wide receiver 15 here. You think Conklin is severely underrated? I've gotten a little bit of Conklin. The only problem is like Arondé Gatson's getting a lot of love out of there. But obviously, rookie tight ends, you can't go all in with. But yeah, the Achane stuff, like I'm of the belief, yeah, Garrett Wilson does open it up for Fields. That's one of the main reasons I don't mind going him because I like Fields as a value. But one of the main reasons I think Achane is a little bit different than like the Dolphins wide receivers and Jonnu Smith, because I think what we're going to see this year is that either the Dolphins wide receivers see a bump, which is probable versus last year, and then Jonnu Smith sees a dip versus Devon Achane seeing like dramatically different fantasy totals. I do think that Achane's probably going to have a tough time sustaining the target share numbers that he saw last year. But look at his splits with and without Tua, and look at the competition now where Mostert's not there. I've gotten a ton. Jalen Wright is one of my highest rostered players, to be clear. because I think that he's going to have a role, and there's contingent upside as well. It's like Rashad White. I have a ton of Rashad White in these drafts because not only could he have some usability week to week in a best ball environment, but there's crazy upside if Bucky Irving were to get hurt. It's not an anti Bucky Irving stance. It's just this is what happens in a violent game like football. And so with Achane, I think you could see just a bigger workload, all while knowing that we know that he can be really efficient, and he had really good splits. He was like RB3 with Tua last year. Yes, the O-line scares me like crazy. I'm just saying that, like, I think there's more stability and a floor for Achane than the market might be viewing. Whereas I think there's a little bit more volatility with the wideouts and with Jonnu Smith. Just because I talked about this on the mailbag today, that Miami offense, like last year, Tua had by far his lowest ADOT of his career. It was like 6.1 yards. And so that benefited Jonnu Smith and Devon Achane. Coaching staff didn't change. There's a chance that they still do that. And Jalen Waddle's only a 16% target share guy. Tyreek Hill only like a 21% target share guy. Do I think that's sustainable and good for them? No, I think that's a terrible idea from a strategic standpoint. But at the same time, poorer offensive line. Tua doesn't want to get concussed again. He's got to get it out quick. So I think that there's some reason to believe that that's in their range of outcomes, that they just do that again. So I think Jonnu is more of the avoid in that offense. But I am sprinkling him in because, again, it could just stay that way. I'm just trying to think in range of outcomes here at the end of the day. But Henry gets the Packers in week 17, that ground game written all over. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not fading Henry per se. I just think that, all right, I'm on the clock. I got to think really quick. Let's see. I don't want to get one of the quarterbacks right now. What I do sometimes is get Devontae Smith and then see if Jalen Hurts comes around and falls. And since there's no one that I've gotten a decent amount of Tet. Like, I like Tet more than Devontae Smith, but this is that play on Jalen Hurts potentially, because when you don't get Smith, someone at the turn will think they can just get Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith. So if you get Smith, if these are people who do like to stack, then they're going to be less inclined to get Hurts. So I do this every once in a while when I'm in like the 2 or the 3 spot. And where there's I like McMillan. I've gotten a decent amount of McMillan. So I'm okay with not going that route right here just because of my exposure already. But it's something that I've done, like this team just got Burrow. We basically have to hope that this team right here doesn't get Hurts. And to me, if this team doesn't get Tet, then it makes sense for the 102 to get Tet because they just drafted Chuba Hubbard. And they only have one wide receiver. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. This is game theory in action. Oh, they got Tet. I really wish they would have not gotten Tet. I'm high on Kenneth Walker bindles. We'll talk about it in a second. After this, it's like, if it's not Hurts, this guy's going to get Hurts. Oh, we did it. All right. Nice little stack. That's the game theory behind it all. I wrote about that. I've written about that in the draft guide, where like if you're at the front 3 or the back 3, you can kind of play a game with those 2 teams. It's easier, obviously, if you're in the back 2 or the front 2. But so Kenneth Walker, I think that I love Walker with Kubiak. I think his one cut explosiveness will work really well in that zone scheme. I question what his target share is going to look like, because last year his target share was really strong. That's how Ryan Grubb ran that offense. But at the same time, in situations like this, I say to myself, okay, if we're worried about target share, what's the target competition on that team just in general? And the target competition on Seattle isn't very strong. So I think that we could still see a, 20 to 25% target share to running backs on that team. And if Kenneth Walker is the 1A, I think that he can get over that 10% to 12% mark. And if that's the case, I think he's going to pay off at ADP. The injury stuff is what the health stuff is what matters most. Obviously, the offensive line is a question mark. They've beefed that up a little bit. So hopefully it's a little bit better. But yeah, I like Walker. One of the trends that I've looked at, is early round running backs, top 18 running backs who had previous season good point per game via receiving numbers. That's a trend that we should be targeting. And Kenneth Walker actually fits that trend pretty well. I know you use a formula to translate your season-long rankings into best ball rankings, but are there any players you have to manually adjust because their value is so different between the formats? Not necessarily, because I'm using ADP to sort of even things out a little bit. So you're gonna get who I'm higher on and who I'm lower on just kind of naturally. I think in full PPR it kind of changes that dynamic a little bit, just because there's an inherent ceiling even to the floor guys, if that makes sense. But yeah, so I have Hurts, and obviously, I have Hurts and Bowers. This is a very different kind of build for me. Like I don't usually go two onesies, but I like to mess around and kind of get different builds. I think this one will be interesting, especially, maybe this is like a 2 quarterback and 2 tight end type build, or it could be a 3 tight end build where I just throw two tight end darts later in the draft. Or it's a 3 quarterback build and I get like Aaron Rodgers and I don't know, Bryce Young, someone like that. We'll see. We'll just kind of roll with things. It's going to be interesting. Obviously more of a 0 RB team. We'll see what running back ends up falling with this next pick, if there's going to be one. It would be great if you get one of the rookie running backs, but they're not always this late in the 6th. Bryce Young is Bryce Young's a good target. I like Bryce Young this year. If you look at what he did last year when he came back, I love when we get these quarterbacks here. I love this. When you get an early round quarterback and then you see CJ Stroud, I don't know what, of course you're stacking Nico, but you could have waited a lot longer, buddy. You see CJ Stroud and Baker Mayfield, 2 stacks, but 2 early picks for those guys. Makes you feel good when you get Jalen Hurts literally less than a round before that. Is it a hot take to like Henderson more than Hampton this year? No, I don't think it's hot. I would rank Hampton ahead, but I like Henderson and RJ Harvey more as values. I might have to go Henderson over Harvey here because I have Garrett Wilson and you get that bring back. Not only that, but it opens things up for like a Drake May situation. I'm going to go Henderson over Harvey here. This is kind of fire. Kind of like the start. Yeah, I love Henderson. I think Henderson is a good prospect. I think he's going to see a lot of receiving work. Josh McDaniels is not a novice when it comes to targeting his running backs. Novice isn't the right word. He's done it in the past where we've seen, obviously it's personnel driven to some degree, but look at the personnel right now in New England. And I'm hard fading Ramondre Stevenson right now. Don't love Jerry Jeudy that much either. All right, so we got Justin Jefferson. We could go Addison here, but I'm worried about the suspension a little bit. We have Aaron Jones that we could go and get a running back piece. Since we spent... I don't love doing because Aaron Jones falls sometimes. What do you guys think? Should we go Jones or Addison? Kind of want to go Jones. He's not sexy. It's not a sexy pick. Yeah, I like Olave too. I'm just trying to think about the build because I got Justin Jefferson earlier. And I don't have that RB2. I don't love the Aaron Jones pick there because you can get him in like the late 7th and into the 8th. But I think we got enough ADP value earlier, and it works for Justin Jefferson and this build. Is the hard fade on Ramondre, which is consensus due to back-weighted production for Henderson, or does everyone expect Henderson to take over? It's not that he's going to take over. It's more that I don't think Ramondre is going to see that much of a target share in that offense. And so it's just not the kind of archetype that I like to target. I think Travion Henderson's going to see more work as a receiver. I mean, yeah, you can make the argument that Aaron Jones won't be healthy for week 15 to 17, but I think that you can make that argument for most players. All right, so we have a JJ McCarthy opening, Drake May. 0 RB leaning teams need vets like Jones to establish a workload. Yeah, I agree out of the gate. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's a good point, especially with this build in particular with Justin Jefferson. So we'll get some of the early stuff more than likely with Jones. And I still like, I get all the Jordan Mason stuff. I think Mason's a good pure runner, but he's never been a receiver. He's never been a good pass catcher. Even when he was starting for San Francisco last year, his target share was horrible and his yards per route run was really bad. What do you mean by bring back? It just means in week 17 we're trying to correlate game stacks. And so there are matchups, like for instance, New England gets the Jets, Patriots Jets. So I have Travion Henderson and Garrett Wilson. So if that game blows up, I'll have guys going back and forth in the same game. To get Swift and Hawkinson there, I think it's too early for Swift and Hawkinson. They might, and not only that, but I already have Brock Bowers. I don't want to invest that much capital in tight end. Are you talking about right here? I'm assuming in the 7th. All right, we gotta figure out what we're gonna do here. Hawkinson's still available. We could go Hawk if we want to and just have a really wild build. People are going heavier wide receiver right now. I like Darnell Mooney just as a player in best ball, as a player in general. Let me see. The team in front here. Yeah, I might have to force wide receiver. People are going more wide receiver heavy than I expected. I know Hawkinson is right there. Ugh, it's tough. I'm probably going to go Mooney, though, because of the way that wide receivers are going right now. Don't need to force it at tight end. I don't even really love Hawkinson, if I'm being honest with you. We're going to go Mooney because there's a decent drop off after Mooney at wide receiver. Yeah, I think Fields is a little bit too much quarterback capital, but we'd be done at quarterback. Kyler goes like the only reason why I'm not going to force Fields, is because we have other outs with Drake May and JJ McCarthy in the next round. This narrative is not true. The rookie quarterbacks love tight end. That's not a real thing. It's been researched. Let's see. I mean, the problem is there's not really like obvious go-tos here. We could go Pittman and have an opening for Indianapolis late too. I'm just thinking about how this. I mean, Hawkins. All right, here's what we're going to go Hawkinson. We're going to go with a different kind of build. We get another Minnesota player. People might hate that pick, but there's ADP value. We now have tight end locked up. We're done with tight end. And then we'll see if one of the other quarterbacks falls. I'm curious what you guys think about that pick. Because I don't think there was a very solid enough wide receiver there. Because the best wideout was Pittman. And then, like you're saying, Henry, you can still flex. You can still flex the tight end. Yeah, I feel good about that, especially with if other tight ends start to go right after it. We just have to kind of hope that May or McCarthy is there in the next round. Yeah, I think it's a unique enough roster too. Kind of a fun team. The thing with Jalen with an Eagles stack too. I mean, we could have gone Dallas Goedert later, but the thing about the Eagles stack too is that you get a Bill. You can get really cheap Bills wide receiver late, or like a Ray Davis, or even Ty Johnson if you want to, and bring it back. The question is going to be if, let's say, Drake May and JJ McCarthy are there, do we push it into round 11? And the answer to that on DK is typically no, especially because I think this is a solid build. I don't want to screw it up. But we'll see. Maybe they're both going to be gone because we know that things can get wild. It's a good Minnesota stack, though. Yeah, El Oso saying, don't push it. I don't mind going too earlier-ish tight ends when you start to think your tight end can hit your flex. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't do it frequently, though, because it's a 1Z position. We know it's not as important. But it is a little bit different of an equation in full PPR, too. I talked about that with Mike Leone on becoming a best ball bro this week. Everyone likes the team so far, which means it's gonna end horrifically here. We'll see, though. We'll see. I think the Mooney pick ended up being the right call because, again, that's usually where we see the drop-off. In like Ayuk, there's a lot of question marks about his health. There goes Drake May. Now we're really screwed. Drake May with whom? With nothing. Just for fun. This is the team right here, though. I mean, actually, we got to survive this. What quarterbacks we got? All right, Caleb is still on the board. We have a little bit of a cushion. Uh-oh. All right. We have a little bit of a cushion, but we'll see. Someone's hopefully not in this draft listening. Yeah, Mooney does leave you out with a Falcons stack. All right. We got JJ McCarthy. I'm not testing this. I'm not even looking at who else is there. We're just going to do it. We're done. We're only drafting running backs and wide receivers from here on out. Okay. Let's look. We got, what kind of bring back? Oh, I love Dobbins, man. Just because of the contingent upside. There's no wide receivers that I am absolutely in love with here. Definitely don't want to. This is actually wild. We talked about this and it happened. Hang on, we got to talk about this in a second. I'm going to go Dobbins, I think. And I'm going to go Dobbins here just to get a solid base at running back. I'm just looking around right now, making sure that I'm not doing anything stupid. We're going to go Dobbins. And that's without getting RJ Harvey, makes me feel better about getting Dobbins then. I like Dobbins just because we know the offensive environment's really good. And then we know there's contingent upside as well. So as an RB3, I think that's fine. Again, another veteran. We'll get some younger guys later that could maybe help us in the back half of the season if Dobbins inevitably, he gets hurt all the time. I cannot believe. Look at this. I'm gonna scroll up. Here we go. I'm gonna scroll up. Look at this. This was at 10:04 a.m. It's right now 10:28 a.m. And we just completed that stack. El Oso literally made this happen. Unbelievable. Unreal. You're biased towards players. Yeah, we also have all these initials. We went TJ, JJ, and JK 3 straight rounds. Exactly. I didn't force it at all. It just happened. That's fun. That's a fun time. All right, so we're only 4 wideouts deep. We needed to beef that up a little bit. Let's start looking at what's available. Okay. I mean, I'm probably going to look at best available type stuff. I I hate the wide receivers kind of in this range. Wide receiver at this point, then I kind of flip running back here, and then I just get volume wide receivers after. So I'm like, this is the range right now where you're getting like the upside of Tootin, the pass catcher and Rashad White, the Tajay Spears. I like Jaden Blue. We could get the Ray Davis bring back, which could happen even in the following round after that. Yeah, Hollywood is a bring back for Dobbins. So we do have we have some outs here. This is kind of the benefit of like just being done at quarterback and done at tight end, is that you're not really sweating things. Noah Gray could outscore Hollywood this year. I haven't really drafted that much Hollywood. I've drafted a lot of Noah Gray. Because like what's really nice too is like when you get a Cam Ward. I'm not even like massively high on Michael Penix. Maybe I'll be wrong about that take. Just he doesn't really provide that much on the ground. All right, we can get Tootin here, which pairs really well with the age. So we get two of these rookie backs, and it pairs well with the age of Jones and Dobbins. So hopefully Tootin kind of anchors us towards the end of the season. There goes Ray Davis. I'm just looking for bodies right now. If we can get one of these three, I'm fine. Or Eckler too. Yes, Slayton can be a bring back as well for Bowers. Wish I had a crystal ball on Ray Davis and Ty Johnson. I think Ray Davis is pretty legit, just as a player. I'm again just trying to get some bodies here. This is not a. I might go Eckler. We could go Hollywood though. I'm pretty over. Okay, there goes Hollywood. I'm pretty overweight on Eckler as well. I have these two rookies already. Let's go Eckler over Blue. What do you guys think? We don't have correlation, right? I mean, those are two teams that we haven't really gone with. Could go like Tillman too if we want to. Let's just go Eckler. We're getting some more stability early on. And then we can throw some darts later. We only have 4 wideouts though. That's the problem with this build. But again, earlier round wideouts, which is good, but still, we need to, like, this is probably a 9 wide receiver team. So we'll throw some darts. I have a ton of Eckler as well. This is a pro Eckler stream. It sounds like everyone in chat is talking about how much Eckler exposure they have. It's weird to me. I mean, I can understand like, Krosky Merritt love and all that kind of stuff. Like I've drafted him at times. I'm just pretty anti Brian Robinson where he goes. And then I think there's some, there's a little bit of fright with Deebo Samuel being there, but I still think Eckler is legit. He was really good last year. The trademark Eckler pick to ensure it's a great team. Yeah, exactly. We do need to start looking at wide receivers. Like, let's just get some guys in the queue. All right, who we look. So we're not going to get any more Eagles. We could get Josh Palmer for a bring back for the Eagles. That would actually be a really nice pick. And then Detroit's not really. I mean, we can get Isaac Tesla at the end of the draft. Yeah, someone mentioned Keenan Allen, not even talking about him as a pick, but I think Keenan Allen is going to rise in ADP. Yeah, Tillman's solid. There's some good players still left. Can't go Bigsby because I got Tootin. I don't really want to make multiple bets like that. Rico Dowdle, I've gotten a lot. Jalen Wright, I've gotten a lot. Roshan, Justice Hill. Just throwing guys in here. Yeah, I like most of these calls too. Michael Wilson, 2-2. A.D. Mitchell. I got a lot of A.D. Mitchell. Calvin Austin, Deontay Thornton. Thornton's risen a bit, but yeah, Roshi Roshi and Jalen are my go-to late round running backs. Would you rather have Keenan Allen or Amari Cooper? Easily Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen was actually not that bad last year. Amari Cooper was absolute trash. All right, let's look at ADP real quick. I mean, do we have anything? We don't have anything Tampa Bay. I don't really like Jalen McMillan. I kind of like Tillman just in general as a dart. And we don't have, like, this is going to be not as much correlation with some of these guys that we're getting late. I packed my bags on Thornton in May. Yeah. He's getting a lot of steam. I think we're going to go Tillman if he's available. Oh, wait, no. We're actually going to go Josh. Okay, Tillman just went. We're going to go Josh Palmer. It's a little bit of a reach, but there's just a lot of guys in the same tier for me here. We're going Palmer here to bring back with the Eagles stack. Yeah, we might as well just take the guy who, since we're talking about Amari Cooper, might as well just take the guy who's basically replacing him. Yeah, Palmer for the stack. I got the bring back with Buffalo and Green Bay. I like these running backs. I'm going to get one of these running backs. We have nothing going on with, I mean, I've gotten so much Jalen Wright. I feel like I want to go Jalen Wright. I have him ranked higher. Let's go Jalen Wright. I think he's just going to get more work. This is one of those teams where, look, we have 5 rounds left and we're sitting at 6 running backs and 5 wide receivers, which means we're going to have probably, I mean, we could even go 7 backs and 9 wideouts. Tyler, you want to see the squad real quick, buddy? I want Tyler's take. J. Jeff, Bowers, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts. Played the little Devontae with Jalen Hurts game. Travion, Aaron Jones, Mooney, and Hawkinson. So I got 2 decent tight ends. JJ McCarthy, Dobbins, Tootin, Eckler, Josh Palmer, Jalen Wright. We just got to pound some wide receivers at the end here and get this thing going. I really like this team. Yeah. Time to pound out indeed, Tyler. Comfy and upside. Like, there are some teams that you draft. Like right now, it doesn't really matter what, like of course I'm going to be looking for correlation and stuff, but like, it's just so nice not having to sweat positions because we're done at quarterback. We're done at tight end. We can just kind of chill out and just be like, sure, I'll get this unstacked. I don't know. Deontay Thornton. Actually, it's not even unstacked because I have Brock Bowers. It's probably the worst example I could have shown. But like Demario Douglas would be a good pick because we got some New England stuff going on in the Jets. Yeah, flexibility is underrated for our stress, right? Just for our body. Oh, there goes Thornton. I think Demario Douglas has to be top of my list right now. Although Roshan's still there, so. Oh, there he goes. I got to get these running backs off the. All right, we got to start thinking here. All right, wideouts. Don't really have. I mean, I'm just going to get bodies. We could go De'Ami Brown to pair him with Tootin. We need, Darius Slayton to bring back with Brock Bowers. AD Mitchell because he's undervalued. Actually, he works with Tootin as well. Yeah, Tutu could be a bring back too because we have Mooney. Here, I'll at least put him in the queue. All right. Let the bodies hit the bench. The thing is, though, Roshan Johnson's just here, guys. Like, if Roshan's there, I'm just taking Roshan and being done at running back. I don't care what else is on the roster. I mean, we're getting Roshan. We're done at running back then, and we're going to just get wide receivers from here on out. Four wideouts to close this thing out. So hopefully we can go Diami. If not, we get Slayton. This is a fun team. This is probably the best team so far that I've streamed. Come on, give us Diami, baby. Come on, doodle bumps. Don't do it to us. Or else we're going to have to reach for Darius Slayton. Yeah, Slayton does have... I don't know the Week 16 schedule well enough off the top of my head, but that's nice to know. We're going Diami, though. We're getting a little... we're getting a little Jacksonville thing going here with Tootin and Diami. Give us Diami, baby, in 2025. Never thought I'd see the day. The thing that's interesting with Diami, number one, I never thought that he was like an amazing prospect or an amazing player. But with the Travis Hunter stuff and then like kind of playing weird about how much wide receiver he's going to play, and then there's contingent upside, and then it's an offense we want to invest in. I get the allure. Who would have thought is true? 3 more wideouts to close this thing out. If we get these 3, we'll be in business. I'm going to throw Tesla in here, though, too. You guys think that's stupid? Minnesota bring back? Yeah, I like this, too, with Diami, because he's... I mean, even in college, he was a deep ball guy, vertical guy. But I think that he can, you know... Like, I think there's enough athleticism there that he could play that kind of role. Joe says he hates Tesla. Now, look, let's not get political here, okay? What do you think about MVS as a last-round pick on DK? I only do that if I have, like, a Seattle thing going. We could go Elijah Moore also for Buffalo. Do we have... No, we don't have any... I mean, I don't think we need to stack Naylor after having Hawk and Jefferson. I think it's fine enough. And Aaron Jones. Someone took Slayton. Tyler says, got to pop off in the office for some paperwork. Happy Friday, y'all. Happy Friday, Tyler. Have a good weekend. And I'm not going to be around next week, so have a great week next week, too. Prefer Felton over Naylor? Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a preference. I didn't think Felton was that good of a prospect, but... Well, Tesla just got drafted, Joe, so we don't have to... we don't have to worry about that discussion. Come on, draft all the tight ends. No, I'm not going to go Noah Gray right now. I already have Hawkinson and Brock Bowers. We need some wide receivers. I got you. All right. Let's look at ADP at wide receiver and kind of go off of that. 2-2 is our next pick, if we can get it. We can go Deontay Johnson just to see if he wins that slot job. We are in BIM territory right now, Deeb. We're gonna go 2-2 with this next pick. That brings it back with Darnell. And then we're going to look at Elijah Moore. Bring that back with grab your tutu and dance your ballet, JJ, because those are some stacks like that. That sounds like something we would say in like Ken Griffey Jr.'s baseball. You guys remember that game for N64? I was actually thinking about that this morning when I woke up. Get your white bread and mustard, Grandma. It's grand salami time. Remember that? And I was thinking about it because, again, I'm going on vacation with my family tomorrow. And I remember going to Florida for vacation growing up. And, all right, let's get Elijah Moore. I mean, I like A.D. Mitchell more. I'm trying to think this through. Should we go Moore for the bring back or A.D. Mitchell? You guys get to decide this. Right now, it's Elijah Moore because he has a higher ADP. He's also pretty bad, or he was bad last year. I'm actually putting A.D. Mitchell ahead. I think he's just a better player. More upside. All right, we're going A.D. Mitchell. We already brought it back with Josh Palmer, so it's not the end of the world. But I used to play Ken Griffey Jr. baseball. I remember like bringing my N64 on vacation. Go to the beach in the pool, and then you'd come back, hang out. Guys, this team's kind of fire. This team is cooking. I'm excited to see the ratings for this one. N64, I think, I'm a really big nostalgia guy. Yeah, wow. Right as I said that, MJ. I'm a huge nostalgia guy. Like I'm all about some nostalgia. And N64 just does it for me. That's like peak living right there. Before stuff got real. Another nostalgic system for me is Dreamcast. That's more like late middle school for me. Yeah, we could go Naylor too. I'll go Naylor. I just don't think that there's as much of although with the Addison suspension. What is Gamecast? Which system is that? Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it. Is Naylor looking good in camp? I didn't hear any of that. Well, Elijah Moore just got drafted, so. Dreamcast so underrated. But by the way, Dreamcast, one of the greatest games of all time. Do you any Dreamcast players know what I'm about to say? Arguably the greatest game that just does not get nearly enough love. And it's a top 5 game for me. If anyone guesses it, I will I don't know. I was going to say I'll send you a draft guide. That's probably too much. No, 007, Perfect Dark. That's N64. I'm talking Dreamcast. No one has the guess. I'll tell you after the draft is over. Last pick. We're gonna go Jalen. We're gonna go Naylor. Crazy Taxi was good. Guys, we landed that plane, I think. I think this is a really solid team. I'm going to keep letting people try to guess what game I'm thinking of that was on Dreamcast. 9.2 says Joe. Yeah, rate this out of 10. JJ strikes me as a Sega bass fishing type of guy. No way. Sonic 2 is probably top 10 for me. Probably, I mean, might even be higher. And like I'm talking like that's like a foundational game for me. Can you talk about how you're viewing the Niners pass catchers this year, Kittle? I like all of them where they're going for the most part, except for all right, Jeremy, you just won. Except for Ayuk. Jeremy just won. Shenmue is one of the most underrated games. And I'm not even that big of a campaign guy. I'm more of a multiplayer or like a side scroller in the early days type of guy. Shenmue was revolutionary in gaming. It's wild that people don't give it enough love. Shenmue is unbelievable. Send that man a draft guide. I'll send you I'll you know what? Jeremy, send me an email. info@lateround.com. I'm going to hook you up if you haven't bought a draft guide. I'm looking for some sailors. Can anyone tell me where any of the sailors are? I'm looking for the man who killed my father. All right. JJpedia, Justin Jefferson. A lot of initials in this one, which is why it's going to win the Millie. Justin Jefferson, Brock Bowers, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, played that one right. Travion Henderson, Aaron Jones. You know, we were questioning the Aaron Jones pick a little bit, but it came together, I think. Darnell Mooney, TJ Hawkinson, JJ McCarthy, J.K. Dobbins, Bashaw Tootin, Austin Eckler, Josh Palmer, Jalen Wright, Roshan Johnson, De'Ami Brown, Tutu Atwell, Adonai Mitchell, and Jalen Naylor. That, my friends, is a fun team. That's a fun 9.6. That's the highest rating we've gotten so far this draft season. This I'd say 9. Draft was great. 8.7. I think this is like a consensus. Everyone just was like, yeah, we're good. That means it's going to get like 6th. We know how that goes. But it came together. That's what matters most. It was a logical team. It was thoughtful. You guys helped me out thinking through things. It'd be great if this was the one, right? Be awesome. But I appreciate all of you guys for stopping by, tuning in, talking some gaming, talking some nostalgia, talking about some football. It's what it's all about. It's really what it's all about. Like I said, I'm going on vacation tomorrow for a week. Gotta relax after all of that draft guide time. When I'm back, though, it is go time. It's season-long time. It's Tuesday episodes are back for the Late Round podcast. Still doing Becoming a Best Ball Bro. Still doing Perspectives in the Mailbag episode. Still doing the Late Round Fantasy Football Show with David Kitchen every Thursday. Make sure you are subscribed to this YouTube channel. You will get notified every time I go live, or David Kitchen, who I think will be going live next week. But anytime we go live, you'll be notified. It also helps us out as well. And then make sure you like this video. Make sure you comment on it as well. That helps the algorithm, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Jeremy, you send me your email, buddy. info@lateround.com, because you guessed Shenmue, and that's goated. All right, everyone. Have a great weekend. Have a great 4th of July. Appreciate you for tuning in. I'll catch you next time.